And we're live on episode 2 of today. This is Walk On Report episode 4, though, as we're going to be talking a little NCAA football. With me, we just have Randall, as Thomas is not able to make it today, but we got some great topics to cover and a big one for Randall here. We'll actually be kicking that right away. So we're going to go Big 12 talk. And first topic, we'll just go ahead and get right into it. UT, take it away.
They better be scared. OU needs to be scared right now because the way we're looking right now, obviously it's still to be determined if Sam or Shane's going to start. Shane was a little banged up, and that's actually why he didn't start. A lot of people thought he just started over Shane just because. But Shane's banged up again. But honestly, after that game, I think Sam won that spot. I think if Sam doesn't start against OU, I don't know what we're thinking. I think we need to start Sam. Sam scares me a little bit more. When he's out there, I'm scared something bad might happen. But when he's out there, I'm also thinking there could be a big play at any time. He could run over a safety like he did against K-State. Trucked that kid. They looked good, man. Defense was not that great this week. But, I mean, you're not going to have a great week every single week on defense unless you're Alabama, which, I mean, that's just an NFL team playing against college football teams at this point. But, yeah, going into OU, I'm excited. I like the way our defense has been playing. I like our offense with Sam. I didn't know he could run the way he could until USC. I knew he had a little bit of wheels, but I didn't think he could run like that, and I love to see him lower his shoulder. It shows guts. But also, for the love of God, Sam, start sliding, man. I know you want to run over safeties, but you're not – one of these days, you're going to try to go run over a safety or a linebacker, and you're not going to run over them because you still are just a quarterback that's not as big as those guys. You're not as strong as them, and I don't want to see you get hurt. So please start sliding if you're listening. I know you are. But, yeah, I like our chances against OU. I kind of wish that OU wouldn't – I mean, I'm glad they lost because I despise OU. But going into this week, I actually would have preferred them to be undefeated because now they're going to be a little upset that they potentially just got knocked out of a playoff spot. Maybe they didn't, but we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the Big 12 as a whole. I think you have some ideas that I agree with. But, yeah, Texas OU, I'm excited this week. Red River rivalry. I think it might be, usually this game is a little bit of a shootout. I don't think it's a shootout this time. I think we got a low-scoring game. I think the defenses are going to prevail here, and I'm still going to pick Texas. I think Texas is going to pull this one out. Okay.
I think, it'll be a good game. I honestly kind of was hoping game day would have gone to the state fair. That would have been pretty fun. I kind of wish
Why don't they go there every year? You know it's going to be the most exciting game this week. It's got to be.
They're going to James Madison Villanova. Returning to James Madison. They went there a little bit, I think, last year. So, it'll be interesting.
You're telling me any Villanova game ever is better than Texas OU?
Yeah, no. I'm kind of disappointed. It'd been fun to see them at the state fair. They went to Times Square. Go to the state fair. Shoot,
exactly.
They always get all the food.
Get some fried Twinkies, man.
Every college game they bring the food up to them. Man, they have plenty of food to bring to them.
No better eating than that.
Yeah, well, that's a little disappointing there. I was kind of looking at the matchups and I was like, man, that would have been a good one to go to. But
yep. Yeah.
Then we'll kick it over to the other side of that rivalry. Iowa State, baby, taking down OU at OU. A little revenge, or not revenge, I guess, but a little payback, planting the flag on OU's turf.
Gorgeous.
Their players chanting "Who's your daddy" to the crowd. I mean, whew. Hey, I mean, it's all fun, and then it gets used against you though when it goes wrong. So
yeah, I mean, first off, I hate OU, but I had no problem with Baker planting that flag at Ohio State. It's college football. Let them do what they're going to do. He didn't actually plan it. But then to see it come back and happen to him, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything. It's fun. It's college football. That's all the fun of it is just there's so many weird and different things, and it's just so the environment's so much different than the NFL that things like that are what makes college football college football. So I enjoyed it, but when you do pull stuff like that, hey, people are watching you. You're top 4 team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you get upset. You can't, and I'm not saying they're mad about it. I don't think I've seen any OU players say anything that they're upset about it, because it's going to come back on you if something goes wrong.
Right.
So that brings a big point here now. TCU, though, in a nice win with game day at TCU over West Virginia, fighting Will Greer's and crazy Dana Holderson. Good win. I know you're not a Kenny Hill fan. He had a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown, though. So
look, I mean, maybe it's time I apologize to him. Maybe he's the real deal. That's a big win against West Virginia. West Virginia is not a pushover, man. And I think you got some ideas about TCU with the Big 12 that you go ahead and say. But, I mean, maybe I'm wrong about Kenny Hill, but I can't see them going undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see it.
I know, and it's kind of hard right now. I mean, the fact that they weren't as maybe expected this year to really do much, but I mean, Greg Patterson's been there for so long, and he is one of those great minds in college football, and usually he has those great defenses. And I'm not saying the defense isn't great; it's good, but he's doing a little, I think, more with less than what they're used to. More of their powers on offense. But what he does with his defense, and maybe not the big name, big recruits, he plays he gets them to play disciplined defense, and that's what he's always good at. And with the Big 12, if you can get him to play good defense, you're at a step ahead, kind of. Yeah. So I think and I'll transition this into my thoughts about the Big 12. I'm saying right now, and this is as of right now. I know there's a lot to play. As of right now, TCU is the last hope for the Big 12. I don't see a one-loss Big 12 team getting in over as of right now, of course, a one-loss Big 10 team, a one-loss Pac-12 team, or a second SEC team that has one loss. Maybe even a one-loss ACC team. ACC has a couple surprises. If Miami comes in, gets a couple wins, but maybe loses one-loss Miami team is going to intrigue me more than a one-loss Big 12 team. Granted, I know there's a lot to see, resumes. When you do get down to those, these are the one-loss teams if there's that many one-loss teams to pick from. But as of right now, I say TCU is the last hope for the Big 12.
Something I'd be interested to see what you have to say here is, so let's assume there's a one-loss Penn State or something like that. So they get that third spot. And then there's no other one-loss teams in a Power 5 conference, but then you have, other than, let's say, a one-loss TCU, one-loss OU, something like that. So let's say one-loss TCU and a undefeated UCF or one of these smaller schools. That's where it comes into play. This playoff system was built to give those teams, a chance. Do you put a one-loss TCU or a one-loss OU against an undefeated over an undefeated, let's say, UCF?
I don't know. As of right now, I'd say no, because the one thing, though, that does intrigue me, though, on that is I think the Big 12 is helping themselves with the championship game, because it is giving a team a shot to get two good, maybe not two good wins, but an extra good win on their resume. Because maybe it's OU, either they lose and then beat them in the Big 12 championship. It's giving them a chance at maybe a redemption on their resume. But an undefeated, I'm just going to say an undefeated AAC, American Athletic Conference team, is intriguing. Navy's playing well. They've been a pretty sneaky team. UCF is playing well. USF is playing well.
Yep.
Houston's always a dangerous team to watch out for. SMU's playing well. If a team can run through that conference undefeated, I honestly might give them the shot. Especially, say, if it's TCU with one loss and they lost OU and then beat OU. I might give them the shot. I might give the AAC undefeated team a shot.
Yeah, but that being said, that's all dependent on if TCU or OU continues to be a one-loss team. And like we both said, I don't think OU with a loss to Iowa State would trump that undefeated schedule personally. But say a TCU loses to one of these people coming forward. You got Texas November 4th, at number 12 Oklahoma November 11th, then at Tech the next week, and then close it out versus Baylor. Plus you have Iowa State and Kansas and K-State those 3 weeks before Texas. Those 3 games right there in a row. Texas, which is a good defense they're playing against. Oklahoma, which they're a real, despite losing against Iowa State, they're a real deal team. And then Tech, who's going to put up points. That's a tough 3 games to go 3-0 against in the Big 12.
And, I'm saying as of right now, and it is right now tough to see the Big 12 getting back into it. I will give them this, though. Clemson lost to Pitt when they, obviously last year, winning the national championship. Ohio State, when they won the national championship, lost to Virginia Tech. And that was also a Virginia Tech team that isn't the Virginia Tech maybe we've known in the past or what they look like possibly for the future. So I will give them national champions have slipped up for, say, lesser opponent and have bounced back before. I do think a one-loss Big 12 team is going to need help, though. So,
and all that was also with that scenario with the undefeated, one of the smaller undefeated teams. That's all dependent on if a SEC team doesn't have a one-loss team, or Pac doesn't have one, or any other of those Power 5 conferences.
Yeah, there's a lot that needs to happen for even an AAC team to get a shot, honestly.
Which I would love, by the way, though.
It'd be interesting. I really think it'd be interesting. Yeah, it'd be fun.
But I think at the end, we talked about it probably a couple of shows ago. I do think they'll end up knocking each other out.
Yeah, I do agree with that, though. There's a lot of firepower and some high-scoring games. You're just going to kind of lose control.
Yeah.
So we'll move into the SEC real quick. Alabama a little closer than you would like to see versus A&M.
Look, if 27-19 is the biggest scare for an Alabama team the entire season, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You're at Texas A&M, which is debatably the loudest stadium in all of college football. Anyone who hasn't checked out a game at Texas A&M and thinks that there's that they're not that big of a school, or that they're not that loud of fans, rethink that. That stadium is built for them to be loud, and it is loud. Yeah. The 12th man is for real there. As weird as they may be with all of their rituals and whatever they want to do, they're a good fan base, and it's tough to play at Texas A&M. Alabama still comes out with a 27-19 victory. If that's the worst thing they have all regular season, I'll take it. I think Alabama now. Clemson didn't have it easy with Wake Forest either. 28-14. If Clemson, let's say this, Clemson won 35-7 or 35-0, would Clemson have jumped Alabama this week?
Maybe. But the thing is hard because I have Clemson as my 1, so that's harder for me to say.
See, I have Alabama as my 1, but I'm starting to think that maybe, it does feel a little disrespectful to have the Clemson team that's a defending national championship 6-0. They've been whipping up on people and had a few really good wins, especially one at Louisville. To me, was a really big win for them. To have them
Virginia Tech too.
Yeah, to have them under Alabama, it's feeling a little disrespectful now to me.
If we did this, granted, I know Alabama has the bigger, more championships, obviously, but if we did this to Alabama after a national championship, even and say they lost a good chunk of their team,
all hell would break loose.
Exactly. That's where I kind of stand on it, and I just think Clemson has a great team, but we'll get that too in the playoff picture. A couple quick other SEC notes. LSU bounced back against their loss to Troy. Nice little win there against Florida. Not a higher scoring game than I thought, 17-16. Two not great offenses and great defenses, but LSU bounces back though. I mean, they're a great team. Or great defense. Ooh,
Yeah.
let me stop there. Great defense.
Let's hold on that one.
I did not know great defense. That's what I'm trying to say.
To be fair, I'm looking at the votes for the top 25 this week. They did get 9 votes.
Okay, so getting a little love back. Auburn, a sneaky little team there. If they get into that Alabama end of year Iron Bowl matchup with one loss,
that could be interesting.
That could be interesting. So hopefully Auburn can keep playing well. That helps. That's the SEC.
They have that. They have at LSU next week though.
So yeah, that'll be interesting on that. I do have that as one of our pick'ems, so we'll see when we get there. Interesting. We'll bounce over to the ACC. Miami breaking that 7-game losing streak to Florida State. I think Miami's honestly.
Are they back? Is the U back?
Is the U back? I would.
Hey,
turnover chain, man. The turnover chain. Air guitar sacks.
A touchdown at the end of the game, followed by a celebration penalty. If that doesn't scream at Miami, I don't know what does.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Miami, man. I know Florida State's not great this year, but it's a big rivalry. I mean, those big rivalries are always tough games, no matter how one team's playing or going in. Miami's I'm going blank on his name. Their defensive coordinator, I think, needs to get some looks for a head coach.
Okay.
I really like Miami right now, and I would love to see him run the table. Maybe. Hey, he's a crazy fiery guy.
You want to? I mean, to me, if you're in the SEC, to me, I want a defensive coordinator as my head coach. If I'm in the SEC personally, so maybe he's worth a look at the end of the year if they don't keep someone.
I would love to see Miami make a run here and have an undefeated ACC. Miami Clemson. That game is going to be wild.
That'd be fun.
That'll be a wild game. And stay in the ACC. Oh, yeah.
They have a tough matchup next week, and do you know why?
Oh, the triple option.
The triple option and the perfect triple option team at Georgia Tech. Yep. You never know with the triple option. Could run all over them.
I will give you that. We'll stay in the ACC. Another quick note. NC State beating Louisville 39-25. They kind of got overshadowed on Thursday night with baseball and NFL. But, hey, NC State, I mean, they took that loss early, but they're showing they're a good team. And Finley, their quarterback, threw 367, a touchdown, no interceptions. And on the year, 70% completion, 1,770 yards, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. He hasn't thrown an interception since November 19th, Miami last year. Dude's on a roll. And NC State, well, ACC's a good conference this year. They're getting in my opinion, they're getting the Big Ten a run for best conference this year as of right now.
Something that sticks out to me with this too is that's Louisville's second loss.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I thought that they were going to be one of these teams that possibly would be competing at the beginning of the season. This is before I saw them lose to Clemson 47-21. I thought that they would lose to Clemson, but I thought that they would be one of those one-loss teams that might be trying to get that extra playoff spot. And then, 2 losses, NC State. They still have versus Virginia at FSU. I mean, I know FSU isn't great, but you never know. Yeah. And then Lamar's Heisman is going down. Yeah. I thought he had a solid chance of repeating this year. And man, it's just kind of looking down for Louisville right now. Feel kind of bad for them, honestly.
Yeah, they're not showing out.
They are not what we thought.
Not rebounding from that end of the year. They're kind of, I feel like, taking back what they had at the end of the year and just kind of piling back down on it. Mm-hmm. So just a quick note, Big Ten, I feel like the only really storyline there is an unfortunate heartbreak for me of my sports weekend did not go very well. Michigan had 5 turnovers. O'Korn killed me, man. I thought he'd play well. Man, no. And, the Michigan defense is still for real. I don't care. 5 turnovers, and they still held Michigan State to 17. They held their offense to pretty much, honestly, nothing. Their ability was from short field and still only scored 17. So I don't know. The offense is just a mess right now. They're playing young guys at receiver, which they're good. They're good recruits. They're just kind of, I think, starting a little soon. running game, there's good backs. I just don't know what's going on there. And the quarterback is a mess. Wilton Spates is probably out for the year now. It's broken vertebrae.
I think they actually announced that he is out.
They said probably. They're not saying
it's a probable out for the year. Basically,
he's out for the year. He's out for the year. They're not going to say for sure. He's out for the year. So, and I've got a tough decision here. I mean, you got nothing with O'Korn being a senior, but Harbaugh doesn't want to start Peters, the sophomore, because he doesn't want to put him out there and lose confidence, which I understand because with how this offense is, I mean, he's going to step back there and he could lose confidence like that, and he's done. He's going to have no mental stability in himself as a quarterback if he's going to go into just this offense that's going nowhere.
Well, if you're going to put him in, you better do it next week because you got at Indiana, and then you're not. If you don't put him in there, you're not going to put him in at Penn State.
No,
you wouldn't do that.
No.
So
and at the last 2 games of the year is Wisconsin, Ohio State. So I mean,
hey, and don't sleep on at Maryland.
No, I'm not.
At Maryland. I mean, I'm sorry, Don, but I could easily see y'all losing 4 more games. I mean, it's that kind of. I don't see y'all beating at Wisconsin. I don't see you winning at Penn State. OSU. That's a rivalry. That's a rivalry. You never know. So let's assume you get a win there. You're still, and assume you get a win at Maryland. That you're still a 3-loss team. Yeah. I mean, that's not what you envision Michigan. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did.
I felt bad for you picking me and Thomas both picking against you. Yeah. And I got to be honest, when I picked against you, I didn't really think Michigan State was going to win, but then they did, and I just felt bad, man.
And I guess this one thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be like defensive and be like, well, Michigan wasn't their year, but the step back, which I thought was going to actually be more on defense because they lost so many people on defense. And a lot of people wrote that, this Michigan team is a next year team, which this was before the year. And it was because of how many pieces on defense were being new starters. The young receiver core using Chesham and Darboh and Jake Butt. He was a big-time tight end here. I mean, just all the pieces they lost is like, okay, all these young guys need a year together, and then next year, watch out. But the defense showed they're a defense for this year. The offense didn't catch up right now. So that's just where they're at. And I like the potential at quarterback. Peters, a sophomore, has potential, but I get not wanting to throw him in there right now. Dylan McCaffrey sitting there, redshirt freshman. I'm not saying take his red shirt off, but he's Christian McCaffrey's brother. If he has anything that he is, and he's a quarterback, that is going to be deadly. But
right,
I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to go into too much ranting here.
Real quick before we move on, we got a question in the chat from a certain Chase Gilmore. He says, "Hey Dom, which is worse, the 5 turnovers or the blocked punt?"
Oh my! The block punt, dang it! He had to ask that. He knows too. I was about to break his TV, man. I picked up there. We had this Brandon I don't remember what it was, but man, I wanted to smack something with it, and it went dead quiet in our apartment on that block punt.
For anyone doesn't know that's watching, Chase Gilmore is my current roommate and Dom's last year's roommate, so he knows both of us pretty well.
That was a bad game, man. that was a 2 years ago. That was rough, man. Oh, let's move on. Let's please move on. I want out of that. I hated them showing the highlights for that game this year of that. So let's go to the American Athletic Conference. I want to get off of that. I want a fun game. Here's a fun game. Navy won 48-45 versus Air Force. 2 triple options going at it. A combined 29 pass attempts and 112 rush attempts. I just want to let you know, there's your triple option. That's a fun,
I love it,
high-scoring triple option game. Don't sleep on Navy.
Hey, man, the triple option is the real deal.
And then another high-scoring
teams aren't ready for that, man.
Yeah, no. It's hard to prepare for. Another high-scoring team, UCF, 51-23 versus Cincinnati. And quick far look ahead, UCF, USF, 2 very high-scoring teams. November 24th, end of the year matchup for those 2. Big rivalry for the state of Central Florida. Okay, South Florida's in Central Florida. It's in Tampa. It's not South Florida. So just want to point that out. But that's
geography for all you.
Yeah. But that's American Athletics, a tough conference.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta give them credit for that. But if those two teams can run it undefeated and then go into the end of the year, that's going to be a fun game. That's going to be a high-scoring game. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. And then another high-scoring game to end this fun week on. Western Michigan beats Buffalo, some action, 71-68 in seven overtimes.
What a crazy game, man. And I was talking to Dom earlier, and he I guess he didn't really see it, but so the Western Michigan tight end scores, and I think it's the first overtime. He scores, and apparently his sister, who's at the game, doesn't understand the rules of college football overtime and thinks, oh, that's it. That's a game. So she storms the field. And as he's running back to the sideline, you see her like hugging on him, and he's trying to push her off, and then they end up having to escort her out. And I mean, it was just a weird game in general. I can't remember what the stats were for the losing quarterback, but it was like, didn't he have like close to like 600 yards or something ridiculous that?
It was crazy.
So yeah. That was a pretty crazy one if you got to check that out.
Yeah. So interesting if you're Maction fan there.
Yeah.
So after those kind of just some quick hitters there on the recap of the week, we'll get into our playoff picture. And would you like to go first, Randall, on yours?
Yeah, I'll go first. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I think I had Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Penn State 3 maybe, and then Oklahoma State 4, I believe. Whoa. It's changed a few times now. So the one thing that's still there is I still have Alabama 1 and 2 is still Clemson. And it's not necessarily, as I said, I'm starting to change my mind. I think Clemson should be number 1 based on the fact that they're defending national championships. They're undefeated just like Alabama. But since the polls have it Alabama 1, if both teams stay undefeated, I don't see any way that they flip. Unless there's a game like Alabama wins against an A&M by 7 points and then Clemson blows somebody out that same week. That's the only way I see them switching. So I'm going to go ahead and keep Alabama undefeated 1, Clemson undefeated 2. And then at 3, I'm going to do something maybe a lot of people aren't saying, but I'm going to say a one-loss Georgia team. And that one loss is in the SEC championship to Bama. Okay. Which I'm trying to think that can't happen, right? They're in different. Are they?
Yeah,
different?
They're opposite. Yeah. They're opposites. Yeah.
Yeah, they're opposites.
Okay.
So yeah, I have a Georgia, and because I got to be honest, if there's a bunch of one-loss teams, Georgia's in the SEC, arguably the best conference. Maybe not this year, but arguably every year they're one of the best conferences. They only losses against Alabama, who, if we're going based on mine, they're undefeated and they're number 1 ranked team all season. I think you have to put them in there. And then if the rest of the other teams are one loss too, if you have a UGA that only lost to the number 1 ranked team, I think that to me means they're the best one-loss team. Also, I mean, of course that depends. If Alabama goes out there and beats them 56-0, that might change. But this is me thinking that they lose to Alabama by 7 or 14 or 10 or even 3, something like that, a pretty close game. So I have UGA at 3, and then a team that's been in there the whole time for me is Penn State, a one-loss team. I still think they're going to lose to Ohio State. It's at Ohio State, and that might be the last game of their season. Let's see. Nope, it is the 28th at Ohio State. I think they lose that game, but then run the table for the rest, and I think they're my number 4 team. And don't be surprised if they pull an upset against Alabama in that first game. Just saying. Don't be surprised if you saw a Penn State UGA national championship.
Well, I've actually have some similarities at the end. I'll start at the end. I have Penn State 4, Georgia 3 as well. So I actually agree with you there.
Clemson, Alabama.
I do, yeah, man, I had that flip. I'm going to go just real quick on the Georgia Penn State, though. I guess, I know we've talked a lot about, what we predict I'm picking this more just as what I've seen as of now. I'm not looking at them as of now. I actually have Georgia as my third best team. I see them playing better than Penn State. No, I know they ended up 31-7 versus Northwestern. I just didn't think they looked that good versus Northwestern. They got to pull it out at the end, but I need to see more out of Penn State right now. I still think they're a top 4 team, but I don't know. These sluggish starts are kind of scaring me. That's right. Kind of what it is right now. And Georgia's just playing hot right now. So, they could cool off and take a loss somewhere, But as of right now, I'm actually going to put Georgia 3 because of that. Alabama 2, Clemson 1, my same argument. Clemson is a great team. No disrespect to Alabama. Clemson won the national championship. I know that doesn't mean you're number 1, but they're still playing like it. They're still playing like a defending national champion. They're my number 1.
It's something that I would like to talk about real quick that would be interesting. Let's assume that Miami runs the table, like we said, plays a Clemson in that championship. UGA loses to Alabama. Miami loses to Clemson. Could Miami and UGA get those 2 spots and then say Alabama's 1, UGA gets that 4th spot, Miami gets that 3rd spot, and you just see a rematch of both those conference championships?
I don't think that happens.
I don't think the playoff committee would let that happen? Could you see it the other way around, though? Like Alabama plays Miami, Clemson plays UGA.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. I still say no because I'm holding out that the Big Ten still produces a good team that you just can't, not pick. Even if it is that. If it's a good
one-loss team, it's a 1 loss to the number 2 ranked team.
It is, but if I have a Big Ten 1-loss team, it's going to be hard to still pick that.
I think it depends on that Big Ten loss. Say Penn State loses at Ohio State, like I'm predicting, and you have Miami lose to Clemson. That's a difficult decision for the committee to make, because Penn State, obviously Ohio State's not as good as Clemson. But Penn State has the fact that the Big Ten is stronger, a stronger conference.
See, that's where I'm going. Is even if they take a loss in the Big Ten but then win the Big Ten championship, I still think that overall strength of conference play is going to help them.
Okay. Well, with that, I mean, it'll be interesting. Yeah. I would love to actually see that. I think that would be really cool to see. I think it would be better to see Alabama versus Miami and Clemson versus UGA, because then imagine either Alabama or Clemson gets upset and the other one doesn't. Then you have a repeat of that conference championship, kind of like LSU Alabama back a few years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Be interesting.
It would be interesting. I'll give you that. That would be a different something I don't think has really been brought up. I know it's early, but still.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll give you that, and I do want to mention I do have TCU right there. I have TCU right there at 5. Okay. I have Washington State actually 6, Washington 7. Just wanted to throw that out there because it's different than the AP. Usually I've been agreeing with them. I don't agree with them right now. I think Washington State's better than Washington as of now because of this year's schedule. Washington doesn't play anyone ever out of conference, and not saying Washington State did, but that USC victory of conference play early, I think kind of has them a step ahead as of now.
Yeah, the best team.
Once Washington goes through a little more, I could maybe flip them again. But right now,
Washington played is Colorado.
Yeah.
Washington State beat USC.
Yeah.
I agree. Washington State should be above Washington right now.
And I put them right there, but. Okay. And they're going to play each other. So, in the end, I don't think it really matters.
That'd be a fun game.
But if they can both do that, that'd be fun. So, there's a lot of what-ifs that could be fun. So, before we get to quick pick'ems, just a quick Heisman update. Bryce Love's still my number 1, baby. 1,240 yards, 9 touchdowns, averages 10.5 yards per carry. Yeah. Even versus Utah. Utah had one of the best run defenses ranked. They were a top 10 run defense. So, still give him credit for that, and he ran 20 times for 152 yards and a touchdown. I think he still is my vote. I want to give Luke Falk some love. I don't know if he's jumped up there as much. I have him top.
Baker?
He flipped with Baker, maybe. you got to give him a little respect. 71.8 completion percentage, 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think he deserves definitely a top 5. So
yeah, I think if
Saquon's still up there too.
Who? Say that one.
Saquon.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
To me, though, I agree that Bryce Love should be number 1 right now. I'm looking at ESPN. They haven't updated their Heisman Watch yet. That's usually what I go off of is the ESPN Heisman Watch because, Heisman presentation is always on ESPN anyway. So, or I think it's on ESPN.
Yes, it is.
But, yeah, so the last they have it updated is October 2nd. But if this next update, Bryce Love isn't over Saquon, I might rage, man. Bryce Love needs to be number 1. That average yards per rush is stupid. What is it, 10.5 right now, or is it at 11?
It is at 10.5. It is at 10.5. It dropped a little bit.
I know Saquon Barkley's in 10.5. No way. And Bryce Love kind of carries that Stanford team. So, I got to be honest. I will be fairly upset if Saquon is still ahead of Bryce Love.
Yeah, obviously I've been on the Bryce Love bandwagon for a while now. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I'm glad you brought him to our attention because I got to be honest, if you wouldn't have said anything, I wouldn't have noticed him until he got to the level that he's at right now. I would have not noticed him probably until this week. Otherwise, now we've been watching him and following him a little bit for the past 3 weeks. So, good on you for that one, man.
Yeah, Bryce Love. Don't forget it. So we'll get some quick pick'ems in here. We'll start out with that good old Red River rivalry.
Welcome,
OU, Texas. So you'll go. I'm having a tough time. I have no stance.
You do it. I dare you.
I have no stance on this. That's the thing. Mine. I don't have a tie to either. I would like to see Texas win. I'll go with Texas. Why not? I'll go with Texas. I will go. Why not? I'll go with Texas. So we'll do that. Number 24, Tech. Texas Tech is ranked, by the way.
Yeah,
at West Virginia, though.
West Virginia.
Who wins?
I really like that quarterback, West Virginia, Greer. I think he's a competitor. This might be another 62 to 58 game or something like that. I'm battling with this one. I think I'll pick the Red Raiders. I'll let them keep rolling.
Okay.
I'll let them keep rolling.
I'm going West Virginia. I'm a pretty big Will Greer fan. Yeah. I like him.
I struggled with that one. I can see this going either way easily.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to them because they're at home. Okay. Kind of my end-all decision there. I like Greer. They're at home. I think they've been a sneaky good Big 12 team. They've been a good addition for the Big 12. I think they've helped them out. Yeah, they've helped them out after some of those losses. So we'll keep it Big 12. We're going to give Big 12 a little more love. This is obviously I'm going TCU here. I'm going to tell you that, but TCU at Kansas State. It's at Kansas State. Bill Snyder Stadium. You never know. Sometimes magic happens there.
No way. Not this week. I've been picking against TCU for the past few weeks, but it's not stopping here. No way. Not at Kansas State. Sorry, K-State. Sorry to my brother-in-law, who is a K-State alum.
Yeah. So, yeah. I threw it in there just because, you never know. That could be the game, You get a good win, and then you go somewhere difficult to play, and they always just play very fundamental.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways, we'll move on to some SEC here. Okay. Auburn at LSU.
I'm still going to go Auburn on this, even though it is in Baton Rouge. But, yeah, I don't see LSU winning this one, Auburn.
I'm on the same. I think Auburn has a shot at running the rest of their schedule until Alabama.
Yeah.
So I'm going Auburn. I would like to see them do that. It would help build that Iron Bowl game and build it up. So go with that. We'll go one more SEC. A&M at Florida. I'm going A&M. I just don't like Florida's offense, especially with Del Rio out. A&M.
At Florida, yeah. I mean, you know what? I usually pick against A&M because I don't like A&M, but I think A&M will pull this one out.
Okay. We'll switch and get one ACC matchup in here. As you mentioned earlier, Georgia Tech is traveling to the U. Triple option versus Miami. Miami high off of a good rivalry win. Are they prepared for the triple option?
As much as I love the triple option, I can't do it, man. I think it'll be fun to see. It's always fun to me to see how defenses want to deal with the triple option because, yeah, you might think, oh, easy, stack the box, but it's not that easy. If your DN and your outside linebacker don't know what their assignment is and aren't for sure every play, that defensive end needs to know, do I have the quarterback? Do I have the running back? Am I supposed to contain outside? He needs to know every play, be positive, because one messed up assignment against that triple option, it's a quarterback turn up or a quarterback pitch to the halfback or a fullback dive to the house because there's too many options for him to take there. I mean, if one assignment is messed up, then it's over, which is why I always like the triple option because it's hard you don't see it that often. Mm-hmm. You game plan week by week against spread option. You don't, or the spread or an air raid or something like that. You don't prepare for this. So to prepare for it in 1 week, to have all those assignments down is difficult to do. But that being said, Miami still wins it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm on the board with you. I like their team this year. You had a Pac-12 game in pick. Utah at USC. I know Utah lost to Stanford, but there's still been a sneaky good team in the Pac-12. So Utah travels to USC. Does USC kind of maybe slip up versus them?
No, I don't think they'll slip up. I still got USC. Darnold will go off.
Okay. I have USC.
Okay.
I actually have it as a close game, though.
Okay.
I see USC only winning by maybe 7. Not saying it's like a last touchdown drive, but USC just keeps it close, or Utah keeps it close, and USC just stays ahead.
Okay.
And I got one more pick'em, a little outside of the Power 5. Boise State travels to San Diego State. I know Boise State is not the Boise State we, maybe have been accustomed to. This, I think, is San Diego State's last big test. I think they can get by Boise State. They can go undefeated. They have that good Stanford win. They're running the table. They're a good team. I mean, and I think no matter where Boise State's at, they're always a tough team to play. I have San Diego State. I'll make my pick now. But do you think you agree with this is maybe their last big test? And who do you pick?
Yeah, looking at the rest of the schedule, Fresno, then at Hawaii, at San Jose State, Nevada, New Mexico. This is definitely their best, their last test. And I think they win. Rashad Penny is pretty good.
I guess we did need to throw his name up there. We need to throw his name up there.
Yeah, he needs to be considered in the Heisman as well. In that UNLV game, he ran for 170 and 2 touchdowns. But yeah, I definitely have San Diego State winning this. And I think they will run the table. And I think they'll be that team that everyone's arguing, oh, they need to be in there over a one-loss team. And then they won't get it, most likely. And then that'll bring back up, oh, should it be 6 games? Should it be 8 games? Should we go to 12? Should we go? So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, San Diego State.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree with the end that you mentioned. I think, like I said, I know I said this very early. I think they go undefeated. I think they don't make the playoffs, but they are one of the New Year's Six bowls, and they're going to be like the what if. I don't want to say they're going to win their bowl, but
I'd love to see that, though.
I would love to see it, too. It'd be interesting. Be another little Houston, Florida State kind of
Maybe they take out the Big 12 team that gets left out.
That's true. I mean, say San Diego State plays the Fiesta Bowl and beats TCU.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I know it's a lot of speculation, but I think I agree with you. They don't make the playoffs, but I think they go undefeated, make a New Year's Six bowl, and make some noise at least. So
yeah,
I think that's a good point.
Watch.
Yeah. So with that, that is the Walk-On Report, episode 4. Like we answered a live question. Don't forget, you can anytime bring it up. We love answering it. Always kind of gives a nice little twist, unexpected, or just a good topic to talk about. So and don't forget, also we talk sport good on Twitter. Send in questions there as well. We'll add them into our future shows if you have one, or after a game, add us and hey, I would love to see you guys talk about this. I know for our NFL on Wednesday, we're gonna definitely have to bring up those Jets. Some riding on that for you. So just, hey, any of those topics, we'll take care of them. So don't forget, we talk sport good on Twitter and Facebook. We do have the Facebook page, which is We Talk Sports Good. And
Snapchat
like
too.
The Snapchat, we like sports. Snapchat, the little code is on our Twitter, so you can go and use that to follow us. We'll start getting a little maybe more behind the scenes. I know future Smack Talk could be used with it, so feel free to follow that.
That's coming for sure.
Like the page on Facebook, follow our Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube. Lots going on, but don't forget, it helps us out, and always fun to hear feedback. So hit all of those buttons for those social media platforms and help us out. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for Wednesday for NFL and next week for some more college football. So signing out. And
hook 'em horns.
Your sports week goes better than mine.